Hi, I'm Darren Long from Delta Harbour Assets, and in this week's Hard Money, we're going to continue along that path of gold versus silver and talk about bars versus coins. Is there a difference? Should you know the difference? We think you should. Let us help you by showing you the differences, talking about collectible versus non-collectible, and all of the pitfalls to avoid. Here on the Hard Money Show, coming up right now.
There are no shortcuts to building wealth today. It takes time, effort, sacrifice, and diversification. But today, diversification means something different than it did in the past. You deserve a more secure way to protect and grow your wealth. At Delta Harbour, we take this to heart. Our mission is to help by inviting you to add physical gold and silver to your wealth strategy. Book a free consultation today and let us show you how to protect and grow your wealth through the ownership of physical gold and silver. Let us show you the Delta difference. Hey, welcome back here. Once again, Delta Harbour Podcast, making you smarter, helping out your pocketbook in the long term. This is about your investments and being a little more smart with the money you're going to use to spread around and make more money. Gold and silver, physical metals. Thought about it? You should. We'll explore that over the course of this next podcast, like we do every week. First, the information anytime to reach out to Darren and Rob and the rest of the team. Just have a phone call, man. Get informed. Learn some stuff. If you've not explored this part of your portfolio, they are standing by and ready to educate you. Again, 1-877-323-GOLD is the number. DeltaHarbor.com. Harbor with you. Because we're a Canadian up here, eh? So Delta Harbour with a U is the way you want to roll. This podcast, if you're watching it now, well, whatever source it is, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Google Podcasts, wherever. And the same goes for all their social media, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. Delta Harbour is what you want to search on. Harbor with the U. So, Darren, let's get it happening, pal. Tail end of summer, man, nights are getting dark already. It's shit. I hate this time of year. But you know what? The doldrums, everyone having some inkling as to what lies ahead in terms of recession and economic letdown. So I thought we could talk a bit about the important questions that people typically ask you guys, especially this time of year. We know gold and silver bullion comes in all shapes and sizes. You've dropped it on the table. You've held it up to the camera many times. Is there any form of bullion that is a significant an advantage, I guess, over the other in terms of investment? How about that?
Well, welcome once again to everybody who's tuned in this week. We're grateful to have everybody tuning in. It's been a busy time, especially over the last week or so, as things do enter that final phase of the summer and people start thinking about September, back to school, and really back to work, so to speak, after this well-deserved post-COVID kind of summer. And John, it's one of the most common questions we get when people come to us: bar, coin, which one, why? And I think it's the most common thing that gets asked when you're dealing in physical gold or silver is, what kind of bullion should I buy? And we want to make it very easy. So we start with a simple answer to all of that in a blanket form. Anything you buy from Delta Harbour has been vetted for its purity, vetted for its consistency in weight, vetted to make sure that the person supplying it, i.e. the wholesaler, like the mint or fabricator we're using to bring that bullion into our house, is always world class and meets every single standard by world liquidity expectations and then some. So you are always able to pick any product across the board. But it does beg the question that gets asked most often, more than any other question about gold and silver: do I buy the coin or do I buy the bar? So when purchasing bullion, investors can choose from both coins and bars, and also fractional bars and coins, smaller bars and coins. And they do have a varying level of fineness. A lot of people don't know what is considered investment grade versus what is like jewelry or less than investment grade. And if you're out there buying and you're buying jewelry because you think it's an investment, then odds are you're kind of on the right course, but barking up the tree a little bit in the wrong direction. You want to stick with something that is going to give you world liquidity, that's going to give you the best return on your dollar, and that's pure bullion. So when we think of bullion in terms of gold and silver, we think in silver of 3.9 purity or higher, which is basically the purest you can get. And in gold, we take 4.9 purity or higher. And believe it or not, 5.9s does exist, at least from the Royal Canadian Mint. It is a very expensive type of bullion to buy. So 4.9s is typically what we find all of our gold coins and bars in. And you might think the only difference between coins and bars is their appearance, but you'd be mistaken. Coins and bars are not only different in their physical shape, but also the purpose of which they're used for. And a lot of people come to us and have these preconceived notions of why they want to take coin or bar. Coins that are produced by most mints in the nation they're from, so coins in Canada, i.e. the maple leaf coin in Canada, whether it's silver or gold, are actually considered legal tender. So on the face of the coin, and I don't know how well the camera can pick it up, but for example, here is the silver Canadian maple 1 ounce coin. You can see both sides of that coin. I don't know how well the camera picks it up, but it is a 1 ounce coin. Its purity in silver terms is 4 nines, and it has on its face a $5 value. So if this was to be used at McDonald's to buy some chicken nuggets, you would fork it out and it would be $5. Now, we know that the value of what's in that coin, the pure 1 ounce coin itself of silver, is worth a whole lot more. In fact, it's worth $40 an ounce Canadian. But ultimately, that's just one example of the differences between bars and coins. Coins have a face value. They are considered legal tender. In Canada, anyways, it is against the law to manipulate legal tender. So this is not to be melted down or changed in any way, shape, or form. It can be bought and sold, of course. And just like a piece of useless paper can be bought or sold as a collectible dollar bill or whatever, these coins have currency value. So they are worth something in terms of just the pure currency. Now, on the gold coin, you can see the difference here. We have this in the plastic container. This is also the 1 ounce gold coin, the equivalent 1 ounce maple leaf gold coin from the Royal Canadian Mint. And here on the back with the Queen's head is $50 value. So that's been that way for a long time. As I said, coins are legal tender money. They are printed with a face value and legally classified as legal tender as those face values. So ultimately, that is one big difference between the two. On the other hand, bars are manufactured solely for their merits as bullion. The government does not legally classify bars as currency, at least in most countries. And ultimately, that's the big significant difference between the two without going into the finer points, which we're going to delve into. Either one makes a great investment, and you really should think about having both, in terms of the bars. That's the 1 ounce gold bar from Royal Canadian Mint, one of the most recognizable bars in the entire world. Again, you can see its thickness there. It's a very small bar, but it is 1 ounce of pure 24 karat. And you'll see coins carry on them no serial numbers at all. Whereas bars, if you can see it and catch it on the camera, always have usually a serial number at the bottom. At least most bars do. That's a 1 ounce gold bar, but you can see here also that I have another manufacturer. This is a 1 kilo silver bar from JBR. And JBR is a silver known more commonly in the European Union and around that part of the world. But this is a 1 kilogram bar of fine silver. Again, not quite as refined as the coin. You can see it has some striations and variations, but 1 kilo in weight. And again, carries the serial number on the bar. Some folks like that, some folks don't. But what we do here, John, at in our house is try to help people to understand all the differences, whether it comes to bars or coins and everything that is kind of in between, whether it's those or even the fractional smaller coins like this 1/4 ounce maple leaf coin, which is very common as well.
It's interesting that it's, silver, whatever, 20 something that's worth an ounce that's got a $5 stamp on it. Same with the gold, so much less than what the actual value is, the bullion value. That's interesting, right? Do you know why?
Well, again, when you're thinking about coins versus bars and collectibles or numismatics, it's important just to focus, if you're an investor, on buying straight bullion. All the things I just showed you are basically considered bullion, whether it's the maple leaf coins or not. They have no numismatic or collectible value really whatsoever. They're not limited mintages. They're a common coin, so there are hundreds and millions of them printed every year. And it's important to clear that topic of numismatic or collectible versus just straight bullion, because there are points on the differences between both of those. And I
Yeah.
would say that if you're looking for a collectible, if you're looking for something that's low minted or something like that, go to a firm that handles collectibles. If that's your thing, you want a hobby to collect and to show off your collections and things of that nature, go to a firm that handles that. Our focus is on wealth strategy, on diversifying wealth, on dealing with people in their investments as they relate to their family wealth and as they relate to the pocket of investments they have in totality. And so really we only focus on things that are non-numismatic, that are considered bullion, and that's the way we do it. I personally myself, John, like bars better than coins. Coins for me carry a higher premium than bars do, and are often the
Right.
most expensive type of bullion you can buy. Both 1 ounce, um, both 1 ounce
Mm.
of gold, right? You can see one coin, one bar, but wholly different prices because the cost to make these is totally different. The value of what's paid out, the artwork in the two different units, the queen's head on the back, the fact that it's legal tenancy. There's a lot of differences there relative to the paper price of silver or gold. Bars tend to be very similar across the board. But for our purposes here, knowing full well our clients are actually buying these products apart to make sure they are properly being diversified in their wealth, they need to own universally accepted products that have consistent purity and weight, that are, completely transparent in terms of how they got there, how they were made, what they weigh, where they can be transported throughout the world, and where they can be bought and sold. Bars typically carry with them traceability more so than the coin does, i.e., we showed you in the bar that you can often see that they have a serial number at the bottom. So for folks that are concerned or want to know their serial numbers or want to have that traceability, the bars are sometimes a good example because you can
Right.
see they carry with them that unique identifier, which is the serial number on the bar. Coins don't have those serial numbers, but upon further examination, the newer coins, in many cases, especially the Royal Canadian Mint coins, on their face have a very, very small miniature maple leaf right on the coin here.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
if you put that into a reading machine, it'll tell you when the coin was made, and it'll tell you the specifics about that particular coin. But again, it's something to note as a difference. So coins do have that same traceability in some respects, but a lot of people like the fact that traceable serial number means that when they get their inventory, they know that that bar is theirs and nobody else, and that they can rely on that reputable mint or fabricator that made it. And so when we are taking in product here, John, what we ask our refiners and all of the fabricators and mints that bring product to us to bring out to our public and to our clients, we ask that they have consistent purity. So if it says 3 nines, it says 4 nines, it is that purity, which in gold, for example, 4 nines is 24 karat. We ask that the weight is consistent. So 1 ounce is 1 ounce, 1 kilo is 1 kilo, 100-ounce silver bar is 100-ounce silver bar. We ask that they have consistent packaging. For example, most 1 ounce bars around the world, whether it's made by the Royal Canadian Mint or it's made by Pamp Swiss or Valcambi or Asahi or any of them, they all come vacuum sealed like this. It's a very common way to see the bar. They all look different, but they're all vacuum sealed. So it's very consistent across the board. And then finally, John, we ask that these products, all of them, can be liquid throughout the world. So I can move this on the behalf of my client whenever they want to hit the sell button by putting them on hold and getting them a price instantaneously within seconds. And that's the beauty of working with a firm like Delta Harbour. We make sure of all of these things ahead of time. So it takes the guesswork out of having to worry or have anxiety about whether or not the bar is consistent, whether it's pure, all those things. You can pick any product you like on our website, and all those hallmark features are guaranteed in that product.
Again, guys, 1-877-323-GOLD is how you want to reach out to Darren and the crew. There's a little bit of education there. You can pick up a phone and have a private conversation anytime you like. DeltaHarbor.com makes you wonder what goes into the the thought process relative to making a purchase. I mean, choosing a reputable dealer. How do people do that? Is it that important, or you could just go to some DB, some old schmuck in the corner, and pick up some gold and silver from him and walk home? You know what I mean?
Well, John, in this day and age, a lot of people they shop a certain way. They treat gold and silver like a retail transaction when it's not. It should be a part of their diverse wealth strategy.
Wow.
And sometimes people do get a little carried away and worry only about one aspect of it. Is it the cheapest? Am I saving $5? And believe it or not, consistently that happens. People who shop on our website will abandon their shopping cart because they found the same coin somewhere else for $5 difference. It happens, but there's much more that goes into the process. At least for me personally, when I started buying gold and silver, and first off, the right choice of product, whether it's bar, whether it's coin, whether it's both, is the one which best suits the client's needs. How do you figure that out? You use the old ears. You have to listen. And it means I'm not going to sit there and tell somebody or any of my representatives all about myself and the glorious things that I'm capable of doing. I'm listening to what they're telling us. They want to talk about family and what it means to own gold and silver. They want to talk about the importance of topics like privacy or wealth confiscation, or they want to ask questions about how gold and silver differ in different forms, like gold in bars or coins. A reputable dealer would offer a service to help determine the correct suitability and make the right suggestions as to how to balance the types of product by basically just discussing in full some of the things that I've noted here in this very discussion. Should be easy for a reputable dealer to sit down with their client and have a candid conversation about product types and their experiences with each one. If you're calling somebody and the first thing you say is, I want to buy coins, and they just shove it right back as a price, either you really know that you want to buy coins and you've done your research, or they don't care. Yeah. And they're just going to sell you the most expensive product they have. And that happens very, very frequently. We'll hear from people who spend, and again, my partner Rob just went through this. We have a client, God bless her soul, bought out of California, went to a coin dealer there, and we're up in Canada, of course. And she told us about her experience, her buying experience. And she bought from what she considered to be a reputable dealer. No feedback, just shoved the product types down her throat. She bought a coin, a 10-ounce silver coin, okay, and they had her pay almost $22,000 for this 10-ounce coin. Now, typically a 10-ounce bar or coin here would be in the hundreds of dollars, right? It's just for the pure value of the silver in that bar or coin. No collectability. They walked her in there, and it's the worst case of we've ever seen. And Rob dealt with it here right in office. Fortunately, we were able to get it back to that dealer, get all our money back, and then invest wisely in different product types, which were pure bullion, that weren't collectible. She didn't need numismatics. She was owning it for the value of what gold and silver does and what it's done for thousands of years. But when you don't deal with a reputable dealer, or the first dealer you call, or the guy on the corner who just sells gold coins when he has them, that sometimes is the outcome. There should be full disclosure about premiums and why things cost what they do. Our clients get that full gamut. They get a full explanation for the landed cost of each product discounts based on size of order, and they get a full question and answer period anytime they call for anything related to those products, where they come from, and how we know they are world-class products. They also get the most important resource of all, which is us, the advice about the markets, right? They know when the price is up, they know when the price is down, or what to expect. They also know what to expect when it comes time to liquidate. We don't think about selling when we're just focused on buying. Yeah. It should not be at all a situation where you take your hard-earned wealth and, without thinking about it, go and buy something and then turn around and not be able to sell it because either the guy in the corner doesn't exist anymore, or B, he doesn't take back product, or C, the worst case of all, when it comes time to sell, you had no idea that this guy was going to take a massive premium to sell it, and you got gassed because all of a sudden this guy's going to take it back, but he's not paying you what it's worth. He's paying you a lot less, and that happens far too frequently, so we try to get that out of the equation. That's why we sit down with every client and walk through them on every part of the process, whether it's silver, gold, a combination of both, whether it's registered accounts, whether they're taking it home or they're storing it, John. All of these are important aspects of being a client at Delta and having this partnership with us.
Yeah, the pricing question is interesting too, because a lot of people are thinking, are you guys pricing this properly? How do I know if you're being fair about it? There's the paper price I see in TV, and this is a different price than you're offering me for these bars or coins. I mean, there's a lot of air to clear up in that regard. How do you guys do that?
Well, I mean, this is where we keep it as simple as possible.
Right.
And again, to be very blunt with people, people will talk about service, they'll talk about quality, they'll talk about price, and very rarely do they think they can get them all, or they try the best they can. It's the mentality of today's shopper, right? Where the Amazon mentality, we're going to find it as cheap as possible, and we're going to compare 50 different places. That's fine and dandy. But when you're making decisions about your wealth, about your family's future, when you're making decisions about the suitability of a product, or whether or not gold and silver can be held in a registered account, whether it should be held in a registered account, whether or not gold or silver is right, and what combination of product to buy, 50% gold, 50% silver, why silver? Those things sometimes don't come to mind, John. We just go and we make a purchase and we hope for the best. And, it means if you're working with us, our service approach is really simple. It's over service. It's as much service as possible. Be in touch, be ready to answer questions, instill in our clients the value that we hold in having a partnership, in a relationship with them. And it is to be there every single step of the way so that clients can be totally connected and stay on top of their purchase. It means that they have an advocate working on their behalf when they connect with one of our account representatives who will be there and are able to support them with professional feedback on the products and services. And when it comes to asking tough questions, John, when we're asking questions about gold or silver bars or coins, they're not left wondering, well, that really didn't answer my question. It just kind of put me back to square one, either or, whatever I take. The wealth strategy as it relates to bullion is something that our whole team understands and we have a passion for, and that we live to walk through every day with all of our clients. And it means that every one of our clients gets service, price, and quality product in every single purchase they make. And whether they're buying, physical silver kilo bars, and they might be buying, some coins, they might be buying, some silver coins, they might be buying all of it all together. It doesn't make a difference what they're doing. We know what lies ahead right now, John. We know what this is coming up. We know recession is a certainty here now. We know inflation is set in. We know that we have to hunker down. We know that what we did the last 2-3 years with our wealth is not going to work for the next 2 or 3. So we have to be wise. We have to make smart decisions. Gold and silver are a beautiful way to help balance our wealth strategy for the next 10, 20 years.
Again, guys, 1-877-323-GOLD. Call that number, make the appointment, make the contact with Darren and his team, and start that conversation about opening up this part of your portfolio. Before we get the wrap it up sign, which is happening already in the background, as you can see, we got to talk about opening up account, getting started on this this particular avenue of your wealth portfolio. Darren, what are the options as far as that's regarding, pal?
Well, first off, John, the website, deltaharbor.com. And that's the Canadian spelling of harbor with a U. And it's the best place to go and find resources about gold and silver that we have produced for our clients and potential clients alike. There, they will find out that you can make a purchase and either talk to somebody, or if you're qualified enough, if you feel comfortable enough, simply make a purchase online and have it delivered to you. We'll do our best to get it right to your front door, traceable, insured fully, and whatever product type you buy, rest assured, if it's on the website, it'll get to you in a reasonable timeline. We typically do have a fairly large inventory and selection in-house, so some of that product can be picked up right on the spot. As long as you make that appointment ahead of time, let us know you're coming. We'd love to sit down and meet with you, put a coffee on the table or a drink, and just find out more about you and who you are, and try to find out where we can fit into that whole wealth strategy. Alternatively, if you're buying enough that it warrants being safe and secure and you don't want to have it at home, that purchase might be something you want to store. So we've set up every imaginable safety precaution to keep it stored in a private institution that's fully insured, that has oversight by IROC in Canada, that has all of the hallmark things that we put into storage that need to be there in terms of keeping the product allocated in the client's name, making sure they get a full inventory, whether it's just the coins that they're getting, whether it's both and they want their serial numbers on the bars they're buying, on these 1 ounce bars. Everyone will have a serial number. If they want that on their inventory, they can have it. And knowing full well that that product is segregated away from the rest of every other client's product and our product in-house. So they get all that with the storage. And then, of course, that storage might also include the option of putting it into a TFSA or an RSP,
Love it.
a LIF, RIF, any type of registered account they want. and they can always migrate over from an existing institution. That is the most common thing people do. They already have an account open elsewhere. It's not working for them there.
That's right.
Take a piece of it or all of it, bring it over to Delta Harbour. We'll teach you how to get that open. You'll have a dashboard. You'll be able to trade other equities and other different assets in that account, as well as gold and silver. One convenient place to be, one convenient login, and you'll get the added advantage of having the physical gold and silver products there as well. And then, of course, you can liquidate down the road and always take it home or make changes to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, of course, the Delta Vault account. That's where we use bulk bullion. And a lot of you now will be getting, as your shipments come home, our latest brochures and flyers for the bulk bullion accounts. They'll be going out to you because we believe in this so firmly. I set this up way back in 2002, and I've been using it ever since. And it is a brilliant way to put your hard-earned dollars into a market and to just get rid of all of that worrying about what type of bars or coins you want to buy. Do you want exposure to silver? Do you want exposure to gold? One or the other? Both? It doesn't matter. That's what this account for. It takes away all the premiums and it brings it down to the lowest possible common denominator, which for gold are 100-ounce bars and the big kilo bars. It's about $12 premium from spot paper price. And in silver, which is the 1,000-ounce bars, which is around 30 cents premium. And then you just pay your commission to the firm for the service. And voila, you've got the cheapest form of buying known on the face of the earth. You get the guarantee of physical product. And on top of that, at any point in time, you can either borrow against that once the account's open, because your product is your collateral in your name. And so it becomes something that you can use to either borrow against, to either take more funds home with you, either put it into the account and have more product there. Maybe you bought some silver, the price went up, and now you've got enough to also own some gold, and you're not out of pocket. So whether you keep the powder dry or whether you use it to buy a little more product is up to you. But that Delta Vault account using bulk bullion process, it's there. There's a nice video on our website, and that is one of the funnest and best ways to invest, especially if, like us, given the current economic situation that we find ourselves in, you believe gold and silver are capable of heading higher over the next 3 to 5 years. We think that this is going to be one of the best periods we have ever seen, hands down, for gold and silver. And as they say, Johnny, the best is yet to come. So when it comes to investing in physical gold and silver, Delta is just second to none the world over. We have some very, very exciting things happening right now, one of which we're extremely proud of, which will be a Canadian first for us, and may make us one of the only, in fact, we think the only firm in Canada to do what we're about to do, which will open up the floodgates to tens of thousands of investors worldwide. It's very exciting, but we'll be announcing that down the road. We're keeping our fingers crossed. Lots of exciting things happening, and we can't wait to have you come to our website and find out more.
And with that, guys, we're done for another podcast. Reaching out is simple. Do yourself a favor. Even if you're not ready, get educated before you actually pull the trigger, because you'll probably want to then. But by then, you'll be armed with everything you need to know as far as getting bullion into your investment portfolio. 1-877-323-GOLD is how you do. But they're on YouTube, by the way, youtube.com/Delta Harbour, Harbour with a U. And same goes for Instagram, Twitter, Facebook as well. Delta Harbour is what you want to search, but reach out and get this part of your portfolio happening. And we'll catch you next time on the Delta Harbour podcast.